Man, oh man, oh man, have you guys been sleeping on Sundays? Weekends in particular, but especially Sundays. So let's talk about some things that you can do Sunday and on the weekend that'll get you ahead for the week, get you a leg up on the competition, and keep you 10 steps ahead of everybody else. You ready? Let's do this. Number one, everything that I do on Sunday, and I take 15, 20 minutes to do this every single Sunday. I look at my week and I plan out most of what I'm gonna do during that week. So let me walk you guys through different eras and chapters of my life and how I did it. So let's go back to the very beginning when I was a brand new salesperson and real estate agent in the industry and I wanted to set up my week. Well, what was I doing? Well, I looked at Sunday and said, okay, let's map out the next 7 days and let's look at these time slots that I'm working in and already plan out, hey, during this time block, I'm gonna make calls. I'm gonna go door to door, and this is the general neighborhood that I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna block out this for my buyer showings and appointments. I'm gonna do this for admin work, right? I know I have that one event coming up Thursday night. I'm gonna take that one person out to lunch on Wednesday, and I'm already putting. So am I gonna have 100% of my schedule set? Probably not. But I know the overwhelming majority of that schedule is gonna be filled. Meaning that only a few things are gonna be changed there. So I know, boom, I put it up on the calendar. I put it up on my screen on my computer. I have the calendar reminders in my phone. You can update it for today's era compared to like when I started 12 years ago, right? You have a lot more things to facilitate reminders, right? Notifications, all that fun stuff. Now, this takes a little bit of legwork on Sundays. Are you willing to do that? If you are, you'll be way ahead of the competition, 1000%. And that's something that you need to do, okay? Let's move on. Number two is a lot of the stuff can be bonus for the weekends. Like a lot of the stuff that I've recommended to you guys. Number one, a lot of the errands that I run during the week that maybe would take up time for my productivity, I could do it on the weekend. Scheduling to get a haircut, right? Stuff like that. Go to the bank Saturday morning if you have to, right? If you have to make one bank run during the week. That way, some of these things, right? Any little extra shopping, right? All that stuff that normally you may do during the week that could take up 2, 3, 4 hours. And although it's convenient then, is it the best use of your time? Because we need to look at that. A lot of us have varying levels of responsibility. Some of you have kids. Some of you have other stuff, you know, that you have to attend during the week. So why add more to your plate when you can shift a lot of that stuff to the weekend? Like for the business people who follow me, one thing that I've recommended all of you do is do a series where you interview local businesses and entrepreneurs to not only add them to your database, right? But to feature them on your platforms, your Instagram, your YouTube. You build up that local reputation, but you also get out there and you're meeting new people and you're out there in the real world moving and shaking, right? You're also promoting small and medium-sized businesses in your areas, which is something I've been recommending for a long time, especially the last 4 or 5 years, because they've been suffering compared to the bigger corporations, right? So with that said, if you meet one of them or you talk to one of them, why not set up the interview to do it in a Sunday afternoon or something like that, right? You don't have to do it during the week, is the point that I'm making. You can save that for the weekend. Well, Bryan, I don't want to work on the weekends. Cool. Then do this temporarily. Or you put this 1 or 2 tasks and errands and this time of scheduling the week, you do it in a window, like 2 or 3 hours on Sunday. So you could take the whole weekend off, but you have 2, 3, or 4 hours there on Sunday or Saturday afternoon or whenever you choose, right? To go after these things and do them. You have 2 or 3 hours of concentrated activity over the weekend. You can do that. I would do that every Saturday. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go hard from 8 a.m. until 12. I'm gonna prospect, I'm gonna go door to door, I'm gonna make calls. Then I'll take the rest of the weekend off. And you can do that. But that 4 hours of efficiency on Saturday puts you levels and miles ahead of the competition, right? Because what are some other things that we can do? Well, from a business standpoint, I always looked at Sundays as an opportunity as well, because a lot of times people over the weekends, your clients, right, your customers, they're having those conversations with their wives and their family about those major decisions and things that they have to do. Therefore, I know that they're probably gonna come to a conclusion that weekend. So if I schedule some follow-up or some time to call clients Sunday afternoon, maybe 3, 4, or 5 p.m., I may be catching them ahead of my competition. It's a great time to follow up. That'll give you a leg up on the competition because you're getting them earlier, right? Number two, those of you who are in real estate, right? Saturdays and Sundays, especially if you're talking to for sale by owners or people like that, right? Those weekend open houses that they do, show up the last 5 or 10 minutes before that open house shuts down and closes. That is a prime opportunity because other professionals are probably taking the weekend off. But number two, the wind is going to be taken right out of their sails because I guarantee you that open house didn't go as well as they planned. I've never shown up to a for sale by owners open house at the end and they're ecstatic. Oh, we had 100 people come through and it was amazing. It's always, oh, we got a bunch of looky-loos or nobody showed up. But if I'm showing up right there at the end, I can probably qualify and increase the likelihood of me having a better conversation and getting an appointment, which is what I want, right? Cool. So moving along, these are just some additional things that you can do to get ahead. Now, something that I've promoted to my closer students that I'll give you guys is doing what's called a smart day and a smart week. A smart day, you do this every day, but you'll take 5 minutes at the end of the day to recap. What did I do right? What was missing, right? What did I really, really do well today? What needs to be improved upon for tomorrow? 5-10 minute drill you can do every day to recap your day. Make sure that you're keeping priorities in the front and center, and that you're taking responsibility for anything that may have been off, so you can improve upon it the next day and focus on it, right? The smart week recaps your week. And then with that smart week, you're also doing what I told you in the beginning, which is kind of planning out the majority of the week. The main focuses, right? The strengths from last week, the weaknesses from last week, what needs to be improved upon, and the tweaks that you need to make. You do a smart day and a smart week. Again, you're ahead of the competition because you're prioritizing and focusing on the items that need to be addressed the most. And that is key, okay? So these are some things that you can do on the weekend to help you out. But more than anything, I'll leave you guys with this. Ever since I became an entrepreneur, I've forgotten what day it is. I don't care what day it is. It doesn't matter. Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, right? If anything, I don't like the weekends because a lot of people don't want to work and they put stuff off until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whenever, right? Stop worrying about what day it is, right? If we want to go next level beyond some of the stuff that I talked about, stop worrying about what day it is and treat every day as its own, and you tackle responsibilities that need to tackle. Because that same thing that you wouldn't do Saturday, you would do Wednesday. Well, what's the difference? The letter sequence on the calendar that we all agree to. That's it. What's the difference? If anything, do the opposite of what people do. If you take the weekends off, take off Tuesday or Wednesday and then work the weekends, right? Mix things up, but we don't have to live in this box by these rules. And when you detach yourself from that, you start operating differently, thinking differently, and moving through the world with a different set of eyes. And you'll notice that you've had so much constriction on you. All these chains have been attached to you, socially or culturally or whatever it is, and you can't accomplish things, or you hesitate, or things seem so hard when you say that you want to do them. It's because of little blocks like this, man. A lot of you will think that on Fridays and Saturday nights you have to party or drink, or you can't work and this and that, or man, why is it so hard around the holidays to work? Because you're buying into all that stuff that you see in the media. I would talk to people who felt bad about working around the holiday time. And they feel like it's a little bit more justifiable to take time off because, hey, it's the holidays, everybody's doing it, right? So we naturally, as human beings, on one side, tend to look at the group for approval. Hey, if a lot of people are doing it, it must be the thing to do, or it must be a good thing if a lot of people are doing it. We know this. It's one of the psychological influence triggers, right? This is human psychology. At the same time, that can also come to your detriment because on one end, we can say, okay, that's good. The group think, right? But on another end, it's not so good. If everybody jumps off a bridge, is that the thing to do? Well, no. So we need to be able to use our intelligence as a human being to distinguish. Am I just falling into groupthink and what the masses are doing? Or is this a rational decision for me? And you have to be able to make that distinction if you want to get to higher levels, especially if you want to surpass the average individual, live a better existence, do well in sales, entrepreneurship, real estate, or for whatever reason you watch me and you're on this channel. Because that's the reality. If we do and think and act like most people, are we going to get that next level result? No. Are we going to do better than most people? No, we're going to be right around what they're doing. And I'm not making the argument that one is right or wrong. I'm going off the end goal and what I want because I don't want to get caught up in the whole other side of it, where people try to argue this. Well, you think you're better. Never said that. I'm just opting to do a different path and walk a different path. And walking that different path requires something different out of me. And I have to abide by that code if I want that result. Pretty simple, right? So when you look at weekends, even the word weekend, I don't like that. Week end. The end is weak. I don't want a weak end. I want a strong end. I don't want to treat the weekend like, because think about it, right? 7 days. If 2 out of the 7, you're just BSing, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's like a quarter of the week pissed away. So again, I'm just talking about this and exploring this a little bit differently to get the wheels turning in your head. But these are some things that you can do on Saturday and Sunday, right? Or Sunday, whichever one you choose, or Saturday, to help you get ahead and move you forward a bit. That's what this is about. We are on the path of progress and evolution and development here. And if that's what you're on and what the agenda is, then you've come to the right place. If not, I'm probably not the dude for you, because that's what I focus on here. All right? So stay productive, and we'll see you guys on this next strong week coming up. Peace.